Do you remember the time Miley got naked on a wrecking ball and then anybody who had anything to say about it was labeled a slut shamer by Zionist Talmudic Moloch-owned entertainment and all cultural systems? Do you remember that? I remember being like, wait a second, so you are calling her a slut? One thing we need to understand about cultural Marxism is that the same people genociding Palestinians right now, they are embedded in the American government fully. The majority of the highest seats in the American government are Zionist Talmudic Jews. And they also own 96% of all media, news, and entertainment. And they also control the education system. So cultural Marxism is a process of implanting into a huge populace's minds what they should be concerned about and how they should be. And they do this via mechanisms of celebrity, education, and this kind of thing. Right, so Americans wake up one day and they think, oh, I'm genuinely concerned with, I don't know, what machination of gender I have today. But they aren't. That's not genuinely coming out of them. That's not really their concern. It was put into them via the mechanisms of control and programming that they watch all day with their eyeballs, right? Remember I said ritual is visual. So everything that is implanted into your brain and your eyes every day, you think that that's your identity. So Americans walk around and they think, because they've been fed these overwhelmingly, like, always naked celebrities and pop stars, now women have this weird idea that their nakedness means their empowerment. Those celebrities don't have the choice, believe me. Miley Cyrus didn't go, guys, I think for this music video I'd like to be buck naked and on a wrecking ball. No, she's only a celebrity because she's willing to get buck naked and do whatever they say. She's a slave. When you are exploited to that degree, and every celebrity you see, it's just skin all over the place, and you're talking to somebody who's in touch with the body. I love running around nude at beaches and in the forest, so I'm not somebody who's ashamed of the body. But I do have a problem when the body and the feminine is used in exploitative ways like this and used to control and over-sensualize a culture. So what cultural Marxism does is it keeps the American mind or populace, not all Americans obviously, but it keeps a lot of them in the lower three chakras, which is sexual desire, what I want, my needs, my sensuality, like overt Lilith, basically. Like the concept of the feminine being lied to and told that her power is when she just shows all her skin. That's slavery. Okay, so they keep the American population down there in the low three chakras. When I was in the States, I was like overwhelmed with the materialism. I was overwhelmed with the consumerism. And I don't think that Americans realize that they are nothing like the rest of the world. And they often look at the rest of the world, and in their very indoctrinated program minds, they think that they are superior. So they'll look at the Middle East or Middle Eastern women and be like, oh, shame, they're not allowed to walk around with no pants on and their titties out. No one wants to. We don't look at you and go, oh, we wish we could be like that. We look at you and we go, oh my God, an unprecedented level of demoralization is happening in plain sight. The whole world can see it. Lots of Americans can see it about their own country. But a lot of them are just totally invested in the programming, and they think that that's like their own choice. They think that they woke up one day and they decided to dress that way, and they decided to always, pose and be that. They decided to be overly concerned with, what freaking combination of gender is at play today. Who God only knows. But that's not naturally occurring. It's not naturally growing like a plant grows. Zeitgeist or collective consciousness would be at play. So when something is naturally occurring, you would see it in other nations in the world that would be naturally arising in consciousness. But everything that happens in America and all their concerns and all this programming is very much just American. So your celebrities are being used to keep you in a debased lower three chakras culture. Miley is not empowered butt naked on a wrecking ball. Sorry, that's not empowerment. It's not her choice. She was told to do that by her Zionist Talmudic Moloch handlers, because what they are doing, they have a multi-pronged approach to destroying the world, because that's what the Moloch sect is openly doing, and it says that embedded in various parts in the Talmud. It openly says, let's destroy the world, everybody else is animals. So they use bombs in one places, they genocide in some places, they infiltrate states, they implement communism, they implement cultural Marxism. And don't forget that cultural Marxism is linked to communism. Gramsci wrote about how the Europeans wouldn't accept communism as an ideology. It was too overt and too obviously suppressive. So his whole thing was, we're going to have to infiltrate the cultural systems, the social systems, in a very deceptive, imperceptible way and demoralize them from within their own system. We're going to have to take them down in a subtle way through programming and mind control. That's why it's cultural Marxism. It's Marx, it's still communism, but it's hiding in these cultural ways of debasing the American mind and keeping it in the lower three chakras. So when the mind is so low and debased and so concerned with its own consumerism, it doesn't even know how to think anymore. But it's under the impression that it's empowered. How hilarious is that? You have women running around who don't know how to string a sentence together or a thought together or be in their own power or say no or put boundaries down, but because they got their titties hanging out, they think that they are empowered and Muslim women aren't. It's like, bruh, nah. And the point is, when you reach that level, and you're already 30 years into demoralization, by the way, there's been interviews with Soviets who have spoken about this. It's quite obvious to the rest of the world that we're watching something unprecedented. We're watching America at the edge of demoralization. And what that means is that the mind has become so corrupted with lower, base, sexual, consumerist proclivities. It's lost the ability to think. It's totally controlled. You are so easily controlled from the lower three chakras. And then that's when the boot comes down. When you're obsessing over what machination of gender you have, and, you know, do I look like this? Have I got the latest thing? Am I doing this? Oh my God, have I started a new business? Am I this? Am I that? You're just like in your own ego and your own consumerist needs. That's when the boot comes down. That's Gramsci's play. That's the game. The theorist. This man, Gramsci, is what I'm talking about. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just so upside down. So upside down. Anyway, yeah, so until you see a celebrity wearing clothes, they can't be trusted.